Hello and welcome to Tom's channel. Today we are building, well, not today, but for several days I built this battery pack. It's a 12.6 volts 3S battery pack made out of these batteries. These are Samsung Li-ion 18650 35E. You see the manufacturing date is from 2014. These batteries I bought scrapped, which means they came out of whatever there was. I bought a lot of 30 of them. I only need 21 because 7 in a row times 3 are 20 amps, 21 amps and at 12.6 volts. Let's start why I want to build this, or I've built it. It's because I have a motorbike and it's rather old. And I like my motorbike. I don't want to have a new one. I would like this one just to have a little bit more battery capacity to power this. This is a lamp which has 55 watts. As you see here, I think you can see it. And I want to power this with the normal lamps on the bike, and I do not want to use the internal battery charger there is, because when you take voltage out of the battery, voltage power out of the battery in the motorbike, which is built for what there is, you know, it has two lamps in the front and looks a bit like a Minion, but still it has two lamps and it's designed to power these lamps and all the internals which are there. So I wanted to have another battery which I can charge only when the internal motorbike battery is full, and that will be another video how I do that. But first of all, I needed a battery, and the cheapest way for me to do that is not buying another lead acid battery, because these are fairly cheap, but they are fairly useless for doing this. These are normally starter batteries, and I don't want to charge two of them, and it's not fitting in the compartment where this should go. I measured this and built it like how much batteries will fit in that compartment. If I'm so able, I will put a picture in this video. The second thing is that I built this myself, is you can have a battery management and you can draw a lot of power out of these. Anyhow, first I want to tell you about these batteries before you start building. If you get these batteries, there are several things you have to look out for. First of all, you will have these knobbies on top where there have been welded before. You have these, and sometimes when you see these, they are bulged here, so you have a slight dome, and that's not these batteries you don't want to buy, because they have been kept off of the internal thingies there. You may or may not have luck with them. I wouldn't buy them, so just the heads up for you. Look that they are straight on top and not floating or have a dome here. Third thing about these batteries is you want to charge them to equal voltage, that all have the equal voltage when you put them together. Which means it doesn't matter if it's 3.2 volts or 4.1 volts. I got all of these charged to 4.12 volts. And checked the internal resistance with a battery charger, something like this here. There will be a review of this thing, but you can check all these batteries with that one, charge them, discharge them, and use something like this, where you just put them in here, you know, and put them into the charger. That's how I did it. That's a process. Well, it took me a long time to do it, but anyhow, if you want the battery to to live a bit longer, you want to do that. You want to charge them up to the same voltage level, make sure that that fits, and then you can start building your battery. So let's get to the things we actually used here. As you see, I welded these together, that we will see shortly, and put an old rubber thingy from my motorbike, from the tire. I put it on there just because that battery will live in the motorbike, and it needs to be rugged, I guess it's called. And I couldn't find any other way to wrap it, because I don't know where to get shrink wrap like this, and that's stable and not exposing the contacts on the bottom or on the top, because it's an off-road bike, or fairly off-road, and it will shake. I put the battery management system on top because I have so much space on top in the compartment where this goes, and made the leads looking out here, because then I can use the battery for different things, or even start the motorbike with that. I would not recommend this battery as a starter battery, because it can deliver the amps shortly, yes it can, but you will damage the cells. Therefore you have the lead acid batteries, which are made to actually start the bike and be good after that. These ones you can do that, but I would not recommend to do that with batteries which are not made for starting something. There are other batteries which can do that, but as I said, if you're far away from home, I want to have something where I can charge my stuff on and light that proper light for my way. Or if I'm standing, that's also something. If I stand somewhere and want to put my tent up and have no light, I would like to light the place up and put the tent up, which I cannot do with my battery inside the motorbike, because first, it's a lead acid battery. Second, if I drain it, I cannot start the motorbike because it has only an e-start. So much for that. What did I actually use to do that? I bought this little thing here on Amazon. And this thing is really, really nice. I am not affiliated with whomever, whatever, to show these and even show you this or tell you this, but this is quite a nice welder, because you just charge it up one time and weld the whole battery with it. I did like that. You will see it in the video. Quite nice. Then I used some nickel wire to put it all together, and I used this BMS, which you can buy on Amazon too, but I would not recommend that. As you see here, there is on the real thing here, there is a part number, and this part number is not on this part here, so you cannot compare this on the internet. When I got it, I found the part number written on mine, which is called XR-121. And if you search for it, you find this piece for 80 or 90 cents on AliExpress right now when this video was made. So give me a thumbs up for saving you 9 euros. You see here, my price was 9 something. It's, yeah, well, I'm impatient, so I ordered it and didn't do my homework and didn't want to wait a month to get this. But still, know you know, and I know too, so I ordered some more. Yes, that's it right now. Let's get to the build. So what you see me doing here is cutting small pieces of that nickel wire to put the cells in series so that you get the voltage from 4.2 to 8 volts in this section here, and on the other side you will do that too, so that you route minus plus minus plus minus plus to reach the 12 volts. See me struggling here because I did not think about putting this down with tape, so I have a little bit of hard time to fixate that to be straight, and you see at the end it's not straight. So well, it is like it is. It's just not beautiful, but it's working. Finally, the battery is welded together. Now let's check the voltage if I did everything correctly. And it shows the correct voltage. So let's get on to the BMS, which is actually a quite interesting task, as you will see shortly. Where to put it? That's a question I ask myself here, because I wasn't sure how I mount the BMS, because again it will be for a motorbike, the battery, and it will bump around the battery maybe. So I decided to just solder it together first and check and test it, and after that decide where to put it. Now it's time to solder the wires for the BMS, and you see me here leaving them long to actually solder them to the nickel strip. That's because I do not know yet where to put the BMS. And to be sure to have a lot of room and not solder again these wires, because the connections will not get better if you solder it that many times, I will leave them a bit longer. Here you see me using the Akku iron, a soldering iron, and shortly you will understand why these can be used for wires. I like to use it pretty much for wires, but not for soldering that to a battery, which can absorb a lot of heat. I shortly then have to use my real soldering station, which can actually maintain 400 degrees Celsius to the tip of the soldering iron, unlike the accu iron, which cannot do that because it's made for soldering wires, right, and not for soldering to heavy heat sinked batteries which act like a heat sink. When you are at the point where you have to solder wires, live wires to the BMS, you are better off not touching the BMS anymore. If you have a metal clamp and clamp the BMS in that metal clamp and you have live voltage on there, you may accidentally cause a short, and I would not recommend to do that. That's why you see me, when I put the black wire, the minus wire, on there, I hold it on the wire and not on the BMS anymore. So be careful about that. It's quite a fault to just blow up the BMS when you connect that metal clamp to it. Success! We made it. We make the lamp glow. That's the whole point of that battery. Now comes the finishing touches. Of course, now that we tested everything, we have to desolder the BMS, because shortly we will wrap the battery in our tube from the motorbike tire, and then we place the BMS again. Again, I'm being careful here to desolder the BMS with my metal clamp, the third hand it's actually called, in German at least. I put a little bit of foil around it so that I can grab the BMS without making any contact to destroy it in the last minutes of this build. This was quite the hardest part of everything to this battery, to wrap it around this tube, this gummy tube. It's quite the task to do that. First of all, I will wrap the whole battery in some foil I have here, just from an A4 letter sleeve that you can get anywhere. It doesn't cost that much. I will roll it in over the battery so that first I can slide the rubber more easily over the contacts, and second, this nickel wire, if it's cut, it has a tendency to cut everything which is around there, and if you try to slide that over it with the gummy alone, you will have a hard time scratching everything up. Maybe you also lose the contacts or the welding on these parts, so I had to wrap it in something which is more slidable for the rubber. When you do something like that, there are so many moments of truth. Like, is it still working? Does it still work? As you have seen me, I mangled the battery quite a bit, and it could be that the contact or the weld came loose. So I'm pretty happy that this turned out still working. We have earned us the honor of writing on this rubber sleeve of this battery, what it is and where it comes from. So that's it. We made it. We built the battery. We put a rubber sleeve on it. We put a BMS on it, and actually made it work. If you made it till the end of this video, thank you very much for watching. If you want, consider subscribing or giving a thumbs up or even comment. I like the comments or constructive criticism, because I only can get better if I know what to change, you know. So, have a nice day, have a nice weekend, have a nice evening, have a nice drink, and be well. Bye bye.